Hi, Alan Simpson here. This video is an excerpt from one of my online courses, and it's a little more advanced in the sense that we do use some PHP, and in order for that to execute, you need to have like a local host server. I use amps in the course. The main reason I want you to know that, though, is if you try this without some kind of local host server, it won't work the way it's shown in the lesson. So I don't want you to go crazy trying to figure out what's wrong when your code is in fact right. It's just that you're not serving it the right way. Okay? Thanks for watching. Okay, in this lesson, we're just going to do a little more organizing so the site's just neater and easier to maintain. One of the problems with big sites is they get complicated if files are all over the place. So I have this assets folder with my insert stuff, but I could also put my style sheets and images in a folder like that and get them out of this root folder. Also, this JavaScript code that works the hamburger menu is going to be the same on every page, so I could move that out to some other folder. So let's start doing that, okay? So I'll click the Assets folder, click New Folder, and then type JavaScript as the folder name. Whoop, what did I start there? JavaScript. I'll make one for the JavaScript code. So now that's in Assets. All right, and then I'll put a new page in the JavaScript folder, and I'll call it main.js. All right, so it's initially empty. I'm just going to go into my page here and grab all that JavaScript code from between the script tags, not the script tags themselves, and cut it out of there and paste it into main.js. And then to bring it in to the page as it's executing, I don't have to use PHP for that. JavaScript can do it on its own. Go back to your script tag, and in the opening script tag, type script source equal /assets /JavaScript /main.js closing quote. Okay, and that tells us to go grab that JavaScript code out of that folder. Now, when you develop sites without using something like amps to run through a server, you can't really start all your paths with a slash, because when you do view in browser, it doesn't understand what that first slash means. But as long as you're going through a web server like amps, then you can start all your paths from the root just by starting them with that /. Okay, our style sheet is also used across many pages, so let's move that. I'll come over to my assets folder again, and I will click new folder and make a folder called CSS. All right, now I'll just drag this style sheets.css and drop it right in that new CSS folder. So, is you sure you want to move? Sure. All right, then I'll go back to my header, my index.html. Now the path to that is /assets /css and then stylesheet.css, and that'll work no matter what folder I put it in the site, because it's always relative to the root folder. Now all of this is actually going to be the same on every page too, so I don't even need to keep that in index.html. I can make a little PHP file out of that. So I'll go back to PHP, right click and choose new file, or click and choose new file. I'll call it meta.html, and I'll grab all that code from the opening head tag to title. The title might vary from one page to the next, so I'll leave it there, but I'll cut out the rest of that and I'll put it in this meta.html. All right, now that, and then again, if I have to change something there, I can just do it right in that one spot, not every single page. Now I need to bring that in with PHP, so I'll copy this original PHP tag, paste it up there right under head, change that to meta.html, and I only need to define that iPath once, so I'll remove it from down here. Okay, so now this is basically my pattern for all my pages. Bring in the meta stuff, bring in the header and the nav bar, bring in the footer, and the main content that's unique will go between the article tags. Now, what about images? I could really move them out there too. If I just go out to, in fact, I'll just drag images folder right onto the assets folder. That should drop it right in there. All right, so now images is under assets too. So now all my paths to my images have to be relative to that. So if I open headernav.html, I have a couple images defined. The path for images now is going to be /assets/images and then the file name. So I need that for the logo and for the hamburger menu, /assets/file name. Okay. And so now, no matter where I put this code, it's going to execute correctly. Now you should test, but don't forget, you can't rely on open in default browser anymore. That won't execute the PHP code, so you only end up seeing what's in the article tag. You might get freaked out thinking you made some horrendous error in your coding, but it's not the coding's not wrong. The code's fine. The problem is the way you're viewing it. Once you start getting into this PHP and these paths that are relative to the root and so forth, you have to go through a web server. And like I said, we've been using AMP, so you just got to go that way. And if the page is already open there, then you can just click refresh. That'll work too. Okay, so I just went through a bunch of reorganizing, and when I open the page correctly, it still works perfectly. So from the user's perspective, nothing's changed, and that's good. I don't want things to change for them. What I'm doing all this for is for me to make this whole thing easier to manage in the future. So now I'm going to have all my stuff that applies to multiple pages in one folder called assets. And then I can put individual pages and sections in this area down here and just keep them separate. It really does. You'd be surprised. It does actually make it easier to manage the whole site when you arrange stuff like this. I just have to remember that anytime I want to change something that applies to multiple pages, I'll look in the assets folder. And then when I want to change an individual page, I'll be outside the assets folder. If you'd like to try out some of the lessons in that course, it's about 3.5 hours and we build a whole site from scratch using VS Code. Click the link in the description for this video and you'll see more info about that. Okay, thanks for watching.